Part 45. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 441. Returning to the ruins and chanting. It's the creator of the Haihuang tribe. Run quickly, get away from this place of right and wrong. I have a hunch that a war is inevitable. Countless creatures rushed towards the center of the Gigzu Sea, because there was a barrier there, left by the Gigzu Sea King, which could isolate it from all auras and all impacts. Then, a rickety old man slowly appeared in front of Chen Yu. He was dressed in coarse linen clothes. He had insufficient energy and blood, and his aura was restrained, giving people the feeling of a candle in the wind. However, his eyes were bright and unstoppable, full of unparalleled pressure. There are extremely terrifying scenes, which reflect the changes of eras and the decline of eras. There are also countless powerful creatures, fallen figures. It seems to be a history book that records the world. This person is none other than Haihuang Yun, the creator of the Haihuang clan, and the strongest creature in the entire Gigzu Sea, except for the ruler. Ancestor, please kill the Killer Fish clan for us. Hai Huangling said with great respect. Who did I think it was? It turns out to be you, the old immortal. After Chaniu saw Haihuan Jiun appear, he said lightly without any fear. Oh, Chaniu, why do you mermaids resist? Why don't you just be obedient? Knowing that this is a fate that cannot be changed, but still doing it. As a half-step creator, this is really an insane move. Haihuan Jiun shook his head and sighed. To be honest, in these countless epochs, because of the mermaid clan, their Haihuan clan has had many peerless geniuses, including many epical geniuses. But now, I can only endure the pain and kill him. Ha ha ha, old bastard, listen to what you are saying is human language. Don't you think you guys are hypocritical and disgusting? Why, in your eyes, we, the mermaid clan, must be tools for reproduction. Chaniu's eyes flashed with an extremely cold look. Ha ha, Chaniu, you are also a half-step creator. I think you should also know the most basic laws of this world. If you want to blame, I can only blame you for being too weak. We have given you enough time and opportunities, but you have never been able to break through the creator. You can't blame us. If you break through to the creator one day, we will naturally consider it carefully and even directly choose peace talks. After all, whether there is a creator or not, this is an absolute dividing line. Haihuan Jiun said regretfully. Bah, what a bunch of sanctimonious guys. How can you say such a thing so righteously and awe-inspiring? Chen 11 spat and cursed. Chaniu suddenly laughed when he heard this. Huh? Why are you laughing? Haihuan Jiun was confused and asked without knowing why. In this case, you can just go and deceive other living beings, but as the protagonist in your mouth, how could I not notice it? On the surface, they gave me opportunities and time, but secretly they kept blocking me and imprisoning me within the mermaid clan. Immediately, Chaniu changed the subject. But thank you also. It seems that my guess is right. No wonder you have been preventing me from breaking through the creator. Let me guess, is it possible that the ruler of your clan has fallen into some extremely difficult predicament, which prevents him from taking action at all, even if your Haihuan clan is in trouble of annihilation? That's what I said, right? Chaniu stared into Haihuan Jiun's eyes and asked with a smile as bright as a flower. Sure enough, after hearing these words, Haihuan Jiun's eyes flashed with a trace of cruelty, and he was silent for a while, and then a ray of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. What you said is a bit too much. You are just a slave we kept in captivity. A slave should not have such wisdom and awareness. This sentence also confirmed that Chen Yu's words were right, and the eyes of the rest of the Haika clan and others couldn't help but tremble. No wonder in this era, the Haihuan clan is constantly plundering the Sea of Gigzu. Xuanhuan also noticed something strange in the eyes of the Haika tribe and others. Then, a smile appeared on the dry and ravine face, showing that thousands of mountains were gathering. Why, after hearing this, do you have any thoughts? Or, do you think that without a master, our Haihuang tribe will not be the masters of the Gigzusi? Haihuanjiun said lightly, but the murderous aura in his body did not weaken at all. When Chanayu heard this, he let out a sigh, smiled and said disdainfully. Haihuanjiun, you guys should stop putting gold on your faces. You have never been the masters of the Gigzusi. The only real master of the Gigzusi is the Gigzusi king. Your ruler actually named himself the king of the Return Sea. How shameless! If Gigzusi king finds out that a ruler has appropriated his own title without permission, how will Buletanji feel? Hearing these words, Haihuanjiun's murderous aura became even stronger. Surrounded by this murderous aura, the Haika tribe felt that they were about to die, and everything in their bodies began to decay. Senior, they are just being alarmist. If the Haihuan clan is not the master of the Gigzusi, who else can be? And, how dare we have any ideas? Yes, Haihuang ancestor, how dare we do that? The creatures of the Haisha tribe immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. Although some of them were pioneers and some were explorers, in Haihuanjiun's eyes, they were no different from ants. Really? In that case, you can die. In an instant, Haihuanjiun burst out with his own might, and the entire Gigzusi seemed to be trapped in the destruction of the era. The avenue collapsed, the laws perished, the world turned upside down, and countless submarine volcanoes erupted violently, like a star explosion, brilliant and dazzling, and this was just the burst of Haihuanjiun's breath, and it was still reserved. No wonder it is said that only when you reach the Creator can you know how weak you were before. At this moment, even the entire heavens and the worlds also sensed the breath of the Creator. Countless immortals of the ancient races sighed again. Damn, it's the Sea of Gigzu again. What happened? The road to the 10,000 worlds is about to open. Don't make a fuss like the Battle of the Emperor's Fall. Could it be that the mermaids and the Haihuang tribes are fighting? I remember that the creator of the Sea of Gigzu who is alive and not asleep seems to be the only one of the Haihuang tribe. Then, under the wailing of the endless creatures of the Sea of Gigzu, the Teishu law appeared, and its purpose was to protect the Sea of Gigzu, so as not to be really annihilated into nothingness by the breath of Haihuanjiun. A few seconds later, Haihuanjiun put away his breath, and suddenly, everything seemed to go back in time, and the horrible disaster scene disappeared in an instant. As for the creatures of the Haisha clan, such as Hais Holly, they had already perished under this breath, and they had no time to beg for mercy and could not resist. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 442. Okay, now it's your turn, Chanayu. Those words you said are true, but I don't like to hear them. After that, Haihuanjiun waved his hand, and several people were teleported to an extremely unfamiliar place in an instant. The laws of this place are full of bloody breath, and they don't belong to the Sea of Gigzu. It seems that the space is specially created for killing. The killing field. Hee, in order to kill me, you really do whatever it takes. Chanayu looked at this space and said lightly, without any emotional fluctuations in his eyes. After all, only such a place can allow me to perform and torture you well, otherwise, the Sea of Gigzu will probably be destroyed by half. Secondly, after all, you are also a half-step creator, so I can leave you a little dignity in front of the world. The Great Gigzu Technique. After Haihuanjiun finished speaking, without any nonsense, he directly performed his own taboo technique, which was also inherited from the Sea of Gigzu, or the taboo technique of the King of Gigzu Sea. Boom! In an instant, the endless galaxy was buried by the boundless sea water, and the shadow of Gigzu slowly appeared. Every drop of sea water seemed to contain 1,000 pounds of power, as if to completely bury Xuanhuan and others and completely integrate them into Gigzu. Great dream technique. Seeing this, Xuanhuan also directly performed a taboo method. In an instant, the entire space seemed to be dragged into the dream space by a ray of mysterious power. Everything was no longer real, but more like an illusory dream. Countless shadows of Gigzu kept emerging, and they kept colliding violently with the Gigzu summoned by Xuanhuan. The void was boiling, the chaos was constantly rolling, and the galaxy was broken. This was an unimaginable horror scene. Compared with the battles between those emperors, it was much more tragic. After countless collisions, the constructed dream world was finally broken, and Xuanhuan also gushed out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this scene, Xuanhuan immediately pretended to shout, "Ancestor! Don't worry, I'm fine for now." Xuanhuan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "Oh, not bad, as a half-step creator, you can block my attack, you are proud enough. Next, maybe you won't be so lucky." Hand of Creation. Xuanhuan directly activated his own creative origin. At the same time, roads that had already come to the end slowly appeared. Without exception, at the end of each road, there was a figure of Xuanhuan. These roads continued to converge together, and suddenly, strands of primordial laws continued to appear to reinforce this space. Afterwards, these phantoms of Xuanhuan slowly stretched out their right hands to Xuanhuan. In an instant, endless breath passed through the long river of time and continued to gather in space. After a few seconds, a giant hand slowly emerged in the surging chaotic dust, and the breath of creation continued to emerge. This giant hand gives people the feeling that it can easily crush countless Gigzu seas, countless fairylands, countless small worlds, and can also create another Gigzu sea and a fairyland, which is the end of all things. This is the hand of creation condensed by the power of the origin of creation and several completed roads. After all, the creator can already create the meridians of the origin world, which is equivalent to building a skeleton. Goodbye, Xuanhuan, goodbye mermaids. Xuanhuan said with a sneer, but he didn't notice that Xuanhuan's mouth also outlined a smile at this moment. You are too happy too early. Hand of Creation. Xuanhuan shouted, and in an instant, he also stimulated the origin of creation in his body and several roads that had already been completed. A few seconds later, another, exactly the same hand of creation slowly appeared, and the breath, strength, and everything else were exactly the same as Xuanhuan, as if they were copied. Then, the two hands of creation actually cancelled each other out, and then turned into invisible breath fragments. Everything happened in a flash, in 1,000th of a second. Seeing this scene, Xuanhuan's own breath was actually disordered, and his eyes widened in disbelief, with a strange look constantly flowing in his eyes. His originally dry and old body became extremely upright at this moment. How could you, be possible, how could you be, a creator? Xuanhuan, you actually, broke through. This is not true. If you broke through, how could we not notice it? Xuanhuan shouted hoarsely with scarlet eyes, full of overwhelming resentment. The terrifying sound waves directly caused the space to collapse and the void to shatter. He finally knew why Xuanhuan could resist him at the beginning. It turned out that the other party was also a creator. Although Xuanhuan's aura looked like he had just broken through, unlike him who had been immersed in the creator for tens of millions of years, as long as he was a creator, no one could kill anyone. This was an unchangeable original truth that no living being could surpass, unless he broke through the creator and became a dominant, or a half-step dominant. Xuanhuan, kill that Xuanling. Xuanhuan ignored Xuanhuan and said to Xuanhuan, "Okay, ancestor." After that, Xuanhuan went straight to Xuanling. The latter's eyes were completely filled with fear, and the originally bright eyes were gradually occupied by gray. Xuanhuan actually broke through to the creator. This was something he could never have thought of, and he dared not imagine. Hai Huangling, die for me. Chenexai didn't say any nonsense, and directly used a big move on Hai Huangling. Ancestor, save me. A strong sense of death loomed in Hai Huangling's heart. He was just a pioneer, while Chen 11 was an explorer. It was hard to imagine that just a few days ago, the two of them were still in the same realm. Now, the two poles were reversed, and Chen 11 crushed him to death like an ant. However, at this moment, Hai Huangyun fell into silence, just staring at Chen Yu, as if he wanted to kill Chen Yu with his eyes. Hai Huangling was completely in despair at this moment, and he didn't care about his face and dignity. Chen 11, let me go, please let me go. I love you the most, I have pursued you for a long time, for this reason, please let me go. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Hai Huangling said with tears. You only make me feel sick. Chenexai said with disgust. Just when he was about to completely destroy Hai Huangling, he heard Hai Huangyun laughing and saying. Ha ha ha, Chenayu, very good, you mermaids are very good. You can deceive me now, but this way, you will have greater value. Humph, see you on the road to the world. After saying that, Hai Huangyun waved his hand and directly offset Chenexai's big move, and then disappeared into the space with Hai Huangling. Brothers, take a day off tomorrow. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 443. Ancestor, just let him run away like this. Chen 11 said unwillingly. It's okay, we will meet sooner or later in the future, but after all, they still have a master, and maybe they will leave something behind. Now is not the time to completely quarrel with each other. Besides, the creator can't kill the creator, and I can't force this old thing to stay. Chenayu frowned and said slowly, sometimes, this original truth is a life-saving thing, but sometimes, an excellent opportunity will be missed. Also, since the first move, people of the same level cannot kill each other. As for the other point, although their master may not be able to wake up or appear, it does not mean that he did not leave anything behind. Chenexai nodded and said, it was because of this principle, otherwise she would have taken action against Heis Holly. Okay, let's go back first and prepare for the road to all realms. I have a hunch that after the road to all realms and the road to all realms are over, the Haihuan clan will definitely make big moves. Okay, ancestor. Afterwards, Chenayu and Chenexai also left this space and returned to the mermaid clan. When Chenayu and Chenexai appeared in the Gigzu Sea, this scene was also witnessed by countless creatures of the Gigzu Sea. After all, when Chenexai killed Hai Chalai, it had already alerted countless eyes that were dormant in the dark. Immediately after Hai Huangling and others appeared, they immediately felt what was about to happen, until Hai Huanjian, the creator with the appearance of the killer, they knew that the terror of the mermaid tribe would be eliminated today. However, after seeing Chenayu and Chenexai return safe and sound, a terrifying idea came into their minds, even an idea that was not very realistic, but was actually present before their eyes. Damn it, could it be that Chenayu has broken through the creator? It's very possible. After all, I witnessed Hai Huanjian kidnapping them with my own eyes. Damn it, the mermaid tribe is going to stand up, will we? Why don't you just go and apologize? If Chenayu really breaks through the creator, we can't afford to offend him. Countless creatures said in great horror that they had offended the mermaid clan to some extent before. After all, who didn't know that the mermaid clan was the slaves of the Haihuan clan? And because of the unique physique of the mermaid clan, they dared to be so unscrupulous. But, it's different now. Chenayu has broken through to the level of creator. What's more, the leader of the Haihuang tribe may have fallen long ago. Therefore, in their hearts, the mermaid tribe has completely turned over and has the ability to compete with the Haihuang tribe. The power of the desolate clan. Ancestor, did you appear in front of them on purpose? Chen 11 said with a smile. Yes, I just want them to know that our mermaid clan now has a creator. I want them to feel fear and come to atone for their sins in person. Chen Yu said lightly, they say it is never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. This kind of hatred that has been accumulated for a long time is not just 10 years, but tens of millions of years. The first ancestors, what if they didn't come to atone for their sins? Chen 11 squinted her eyes and said. Haha, that's not easy, just kill them directly. The Sea of Gigzu is also full of these creatures. Chanayu said with a smile, his tone full of coldness and death. Soon, the news that this morning fish might have broken through the creator spread like wildfire. The first people to panic were the Haika tribe. They knew that their end would soon come. Damn, damn, damn. How could Chanayu break through? How could she break through? At this moment, the half-step creation ancestor of the Haika clan has an extremely distorted face. Although most of the top forces have been wiped out by Haihuanjian, as long as his basic base is still there, the Haika clan will not perish. But now it's different. The appearance of a creator is enough to change the existing situation. No, I have to escape. I can't stay in Gigzahai any longer, and neither can the Haika clan. Hopefully, in this way, Chanayu's anger can be calmed down a bit. If a creator really wants to hunt him down, even if I run away to the ends of the earth, it won't help. The ancestor of the Haika clan sighed and said that originally they were still planning how to seize the great emperor's crown from the Haihuan clan, but now it is just a bubble after all. What a dream. Then, a crazy idea gradually sprouted in the mind of the ancestor of Haikazu. A few seconds later, the ancestor of the Haika clan had taken the three most talented geniuses, used the secret method of burning the source of creation, and secretly left the Sea of Gigzu. Even Chanayu was not aware of this process. Ancestor! Ancestor, what on earth is going on? Why do we have to escape from the Gigzu Sea? Is it because... The three geniuses were still confused at this moment. Unconsciously, they came to an extremely strange place, where they could no longer feel the breath of the heavens and the world. SHH, don't ask any more questions. Remember, you are the future of the Haisha clan. If you can take revenge one day, you must destroy the mermaid clan. The ancestor of the Haika clan said extremely seriously. Yes, yes, we know, ancestor. Then, a trace of unbearability flashed in the eyes of the ancestor of the Haika clan. However, after thinking about something again, the unbearability disappeared. Then, he murmured. Don't blame me, this is all for the Haisha clan. Bloodline power, annihilation. The moment he finished speaking, just as the creatures of the Haisha clan were still anxiously looking for the half-step creator ancestor, in an instant, a death from the bloodline infected every creature. Afterwards, they felt that everything about them was gradually dissolving. No matter how strong they were, as long as they had a trace of Haisha clan bloodline, they could not escape this annihilation from the bloodline. This move is a bit like the bloodline hunting technique of the Curse Temple, which is the secret technique of the innate curse. However, the bloodline hunting technique is more thorough and more terrifying. Even the creatures who were subjected to the bloodline hunting technique in the past and the future can be wiped out together. No, what's going on? Ancestor, help me, I don't want to die yet. Countless creatures of the Haisha clan kept wailing and praying that their ancestors could save them, but they were disappointed after all. They would never have thought that the mastermind behind all this was their half-step creator ancestor. At this moment, they still thought it was the revenge of the mermaids. Who could have thought that some time ago, they were still the race that overpowered the mermaids, But now all this has become nothingness in the blink of an eye, and they have also paid the price of their lives. Mermaids, our ancestors will not let you go. We will wait for you under the 9 springs, and then continue to slaughter you. Gradually, they disappeared and dissolved with the most resentful curse. In less than a quarter of an hour, the Haisha tribe completely became the history of the Gigzu Sea, and the ancestral land also became ruins, buried in the long river of time. Afterwards, many creatures in the Gigzu Sea were constantly filled with fear after seeing this scene. Such a race with a half-step creator disappeared in less than a quarter of an hour, and that half-step creator never appeared from beginning to end. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 444. Holy shit, it's gone. Hai Cha clan is just gone. That's not right, don't they have a half-step creator? Why is there no news about him? Perhaps it has been secretly obliterated by Xuanhuan. The mermaid tribe is too terrible. The speed of revenge is staggering. No, go and apologize immediately. Even if it costs your life, we must save our family. Afterwards, countless creatures almost trampled down the threshold of the mermaid clan. At this moment, the great emperors of the mermaid clan were also confused. They did nothing, and the ancestor of Xuanhuan did not tell them about this matter. However, although they were extremely confused, they were laughing extremely wildly in their hearts. The mermaid clan finally turned over. Of course, this was just laughing in their hearts, and they were extremely cold on the surface. At this moment, in the ancestral land of the Haihuan clan on the other side. Ancestor, what should we do? Now Xuanhuan has broken through to the creator. If our master ancestor doesn't show up, maybe from now on, we will lose such a perfect tool. The worst outcome is to usher in their counterattack. Hai Huangling asked with great fear. He was still immersed in the image of the morning light that was bound to obliterate him. It could be said that the end of his leading path was half buried, making it basically difficult to break through to the explorers. There was no way, the creator of Xuanhuan breakthrough had given him such a huge blow. That's enough, shut up. You guys are a bunch of trash, you don't even know that Xuanhuan has broken through the creator. What is the use of our Haihuan clan raising you? Haihuan Jiaoyun's expression was sinister, and he said extremely viciously, as if he wanted to eat Hai Huangling and the others alive. In an instant, Hai Huangling was horrified. He kept kowtowing and said in fear. Ancestor, I'm sorry, we really didn't find out how Xuanhuan and the others broke through. Especially Chen 11. He was a pioneer a few days ago, but now he has transformed into an explorer. All this is really too weird, we. Hearing these words, Haihuan Jiaoyun showed an angry and impatient look on his face. Okay, you go out first. I really don't blame you for this matter. After all, I have never noticed how Xuanhuan broke through the creator. It seems that I need to contact the ancestor. Yes, ancestor, Hai Huangling has resigned. After finishing speaking, Hai Huangling exited the ancestral land, his face immediately filled with a twisted and resentful look. Chen 11, I absolutely want you to die. I will definitely kill you with my own hands. No matter what method I use, I will break through the explorers, even if it is that forbidden secret method. On the other side, after Hai Huangling left completely, Haihuan Jiaoyun sighed, and then directly contacted a certain existence in his mind. Ancestor. At the same time, in a place that does not belong to the world, an old man was pierced by black iron chains. Wisps of darkness were trying to corrode the old man, but every time a wound was cut on the old man's skin, he was ready to drill. When entering, just prepare for the wisps of breath to evaporate continuously. Then, the old man suddenly opened his eyes. The black iron chains collided continuously, producing little sparks and making violent collision sounds. In an instant, the endless void began to collapse, revealing only a world wrapped in laws, and little sparks began to spread. As if it can swallow everything including time and space. This old man is the leader of the Haihuang tribe, Haihuang King, the self-proclaimed new generation of Xuanhuan. In fact, according to the current strength of the heavens and worlds, the ruler can indeed be named the king of Xuanhuan. After all, after the origin battle of the world has been unable to recover. Can a transcendent person be found? It's all a surprise. Why are you looking for me? The visitor spoke softly and slowly. Ancestor, something happened that I can't control. Over there, Huanjian's voice answered immediately. Oh, things you can't control. It's interesting, tell me about it. There was no wave in the old man's eyes, no wave in the ancient well. Is such that. Later, Huanjian told Haihuang King in detail. You mean, within a few days, a pioneer ant broke through to explore. A half-step creator, a breakthrough creator. And, all this, you haven't noticed yet. After hearing Huanjian's narration, the expression in the old man's eyes finally flashed with slight fluctuations. Yes, ancestor, this is a big obstacle to our plan, and we may have to put it on hold for the time being. So, here comes your opinion. Let me ask you, before this, did you feel anything happened in the Sea of Gigzu? The old man asked slowly. If I have to say it, there are indeed two. The first one is that there was a strange aura that penetrated into the Sea of Gigzu. Unfortunately, it was too fast for me to catch. Secondly, there was also a force similar to the river of time at that time, which was constantly gathering in the Sea of Gigzu. I also tried to perform the deduction, but, there was a supreme force that prevented me from performing the deduction. Other than that, there's nothing else. Huanjian told these two strange things. Take a copy of everything you remember at that time and send it to me. After hearing this, King Haihuang said slowly. Yes, ancestor. Immediately, Huanjian sent the memory picture of that time to Huanjian. Over there, after King Haihuang received it, he immediately activated all his auras and performed the deduction. However, just like Huangyun, at every critical moment there is a ray of supreme power that stops his deduction. Even if Haihuang King uses all kinds of methods, it will not work. Ancestor, what's going on? Do you have any idea? Huanjian asked anxiously. Even I can't perform deductions. This force blocking me is so strong that it's unbelievably strong. Ignore that for now. Regarding the second point you just mentioned, someone should have summoned the river of time. Summon the river of time? Huanjian asked in confusion. That's right, and the person who summoned the river of time should be the first point you mentioned, that strange aura entering the Sea of Return. Upon hearing this, Huanjian said in horror. Ancestor, according to your statement, since even you cannot deduce, then the strength of the owner of these strange auras. You guessed it right. His strength is far stronger than yours, and he is also stronger than me. At least in the realm of a ruler, he is stronger than me. Alas, it is not a good thing for a master to come to the Sea of Ruins. Unfortunately, I am also powerless now. Huanjian sighed. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 445. Ancestor, is it possible that Xuanhuan's breakthrough is related to this strange creature? Then, Huanjian asked a very bold question. There is a high probability, but I am not sure. By the way, based on the situation of your battle with him, has Xuanhuan's path come to an end? King Haihuang asked a very critical question. Ancestor, there is no problem, just like she broke through by herself, without any external blessing. Hearing this, Huanjian's eyes kept trembling. This is a very terrible news. If it is true that in such a short time, A half-step creator can be directly created, and there is no side effect. I am afraid that this person's strength is far more terrifying than we imagined. Why is this, ancestor? Xuanhuan asked doubtfully. In fact, if I can make a half-step creator break through to the creator, I can do it if I can advance to a higher level, but in that case, the other party's future path will be completely blocked, and if there is no side effect, I dare not think about how terrible the other party's means are. King Haihuang said tremblingly. Ancestor, are there really such creatures in the world? Not necessarily a creature in the world, maybe other origins, but there is indeed one in the world. Who? Xuanhuan asked immediately. What do you think, as the controller of the world? You mean, the white-robed emperor? After thinking for a moment, Xuanhuan was extremely frightened, with extreme trembling in his voice. That's right, except for him, I can't think of anyone else in the world who can do such a heaven-defying thing, even the first generation of Gigzusi king. But, if it is really him, why would he help the mermaids? With Li Bai's vision, he should look down on the mermaids and the small temple of Gigzusi. The puzzled look in Haihuan King's eyes kept interweaving, and no matter how he guessed, he couldn't think of the result. Ancestor, I don't think it should be Li Bai. Oh, why? Because, some time ago, the spirit race of the eternal upper realm was just destroyed, and there are rumors that Li Bai did it. And, according to the time speculation, Jushin will soon return to the fairyland, and the road to the 10,000 worlds is about to open. Now Li Bai should be in the fairyland, and it is impossible for him to have the energy to reach out to a race that has nothing to do with him. Xuanhuan slowly said his guess. Well, it makes sense. However, we must prepare for the worst. What if it is really Li Bai? Ancestor, do you think it is because of the thing that the mermaids have been guarding, so Li Bai will help the mermaids? Afterwards, Xuanhuan provided another extremely important news. The things to be protected. Forget it, for now, the plan will be put on hold and the center of everything will be on the road to the myriad worlds. You must bring me the things I said, otherwise, I will be bound by these dark chains forever. Okay, ancestor, I know. Well, retreat. After speaking, King Haihuang seemed to fall into silence. After a long time, he lowered his head and said slowly. Li Bai, is it really you? Also, was that breath of decay at that time also because of you? What is the relationship between you and King Gigzuhai? However, these words are destined to be told to no one now. On the other side, Haihuangling has now passed through the teleportation array and through the turbulent flow of time and space to an extremely strange place. This place is full of corpses and the screams of countless wronged souls. Some of these wronged souls were mortals, some were god kings, some were emperors, and even more powerful creatures such as pioneers, explorers, and creators. At this moment, these wronged souls kept roaring at Haihuangling. The sound was extremely terrifying, and the sound waves connected into rows constantly impacted Haihuangling's soul, as if they were confusing Haihuangling to drag him into the abyss. And this place was only known to Haihuangling, and he had never even mentioned it to Xuanhuan. After a while, Haihuangling took out a Buddhist bead emitting golden light, and at the same time, a series of Sanskrit was chanted in this space. The Buddha's light shines on the world, and wherever it passes, the wronged souls are all there. Those weak wronged souls were directly wiped out under the illumination of the Buddha's light. As for those powerful wronged souls, although they did not perish immediately, they were also burned by the Buddha's light, emitting curls of black smoke. Haihuangling looked at the scene in front of him and said with emotion, "It is worthy of me to spend endless energy to get the Arhat relics. The last time I found this place, I was able to escape because of luck. This time, I am fully prepared. This Buddha bead is the relic condensed by one of the 18 Arhats in the Buddha kingdom with his lifelong Buddha power and the wishes of all living beings at the moment of his death. The 18 Arhats are the top existences in the entire Buddha kingdom. Except for the several first Buddhas, the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp, the great heaven Maitreya Buddha, etc., they are almost the strongest fighting force in the Buddha kingdom. By the way, the great son Tathagata who helped the immortal realm to fight against the outside world was one of the 18 Arhats, but he was at the bottom among the 18 Arhats. As for how Xuanhuan got it, it is unknown. According to reason, it is impossible for the Buddha kingdom to let such a relic leak out. Just as Xuanhuan was sighing, the whole space began to tremble continuously. In an instant, in the center of the whole space, a throne made of endless dry bones slowly appeared, and heads appeared around the throne, as if telling the former glory of the owner of the throne. Someone is coming again. After a while, a figure slowly crossed his legs and sat on the throne carelessly. His bloody white right hand supported his beautiful cheek and slowly looked at Xuanhuan. His scarlet tongue kept licking his plump red lips, as if looking at a delicious dish. Although it was a man's voice, his face was the same as that of the peerless empress, or even better. If some men with special interests saw it, I don't know if they would rise up on the spot. Xuanhuan, meet the senior. Xuanhuan said very respectfully, and at the same time, he was extremely afraid in his heart. Oh, it's you, kid. Why, I spared you last time for the sake of that guy Xuanhuan, but you can't let it go this time. The man asked slowly with a strange smile, and his voice was full of extreme temptation. Not really, but, I have figured it out. Xuanhuan said respectfully without daring to breathe. Think it through, be my slave. Yes, senior. In that case, where is the thing I said? The man said lightly. Here. Then, Xuanhuan took out the Buddhist beads, that is, the relic, and handed it to the man in front of him. The man also looked at the relic in front of him carefully, and excitement gradually emerged in his eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 446. Well, 99%, it's a rare thing. Not bad, not bad, ha 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 ha. This should be the third one among the 18 bald donkeys. The man said with a smile and kept licking his lips. Yes, senior, it is the relic that sat in the body when he passed away. Xuanhuan didn't dare to hide anything. I'm curious as to how you got such a thing. I understand the selfishness of old bald donkey and Xia very well. The man said doubtfully, constantly playing with the relic in his hand. Senior, it's a deal. Afterwards, Xuanhuan told the detailed transaction process. Ha 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 ha. Yes, you are indeed a ruthless person. You can even betray the Huan clan who have trained you for countless years. The same goes for those old bald donkeys. They would betray their own Buddhist country for this little thing. Sure enough, all the races in the world are the same species. The man said jokingly, it sounded like a mockery, but, it also sounded like a compliment. Thank you, senior, for the compliment. Tell me what you want, but you have thought about it. Once I help you achieve it, haha, you will become my slave forever. I can control your life and death at will. Moreover, if the Huang tribe finds out, I will also hunt you down. The man said slowly. Senior, I have naturally thought about all this, otherwise, I will not come here to trade with you again. Ha ha ha, feel free, tell me what you want. I want Senior to help me kill 2 people. The creator of the mermaid tribe, Morning Fish. An explorer of the mermaid tribe, Dawn. When Xuanhuan said this, his eyes were filled with overwhelming resentment, and this resentment was naturally captured by this man. Such an astonishing resentment. It's obvious that you hate them very much. However, it's a pity that I can only agree to one of your conditions, which is to kill that explorer ant. However, I can't do it myself. After all, those old bald donkeys are still staring at me and looking for me. As for killing the creator, your conditions are not enough. If you can get the relics of creatures like the great Buddhas, I can agree to it. The man said slowly. Senior, you think too highly of me. I am a Buddha from a Buddhist country, and the lowest level is the realm of a creator. Hai Huangling said bitterly, but it would be great to be able to kill Chen 11. In this case, I will teach you something. After you understand and refine it, you can kill the explorer. It's a piece of cake. After finishing speaking, the man tapped Hai Huangling's eyebrows lightly. In an instant, massive images were continuously transmitted to Hai Huangling's mind. The amount of information was so large that he almost exploded on the spot. After an unknown amount of time, the man dozed off. Sure enough, waste is still waste after all. It takes so long to refine just this little thing. If it weren't for you being able to get me something, why would I let an ant like you be my slave? The man's face was full of disgust and disgust. Finally, after several days of experience, Hai Huangling finally digested the information, and his back was soaked with sweat, because these moves were too terrifying and vicious. At the same time, he could also feel that his soul seemed to be enslaved, and he could not control life or death. Well, with your talent, it is estimated that you will be able to fully understand these things in tens of thousands of years. By then, killing that explorer will be a piece of cake. At the same time, I believe you can also feel the abnormality in your soul. From now on, you are my slave. Life or death is not up to you, you know. The man said lightly, and then released a ray of his own breath. In an instant, Hai Huangling felt that his soul was experiencing indescribable burning pain. Fortunately, it was only for a second, but in this second, Hai Huangling felt that his soul was experiencing indescribable burning pain. Huangling was sweating profusely. He never wanted to experience it again. Even if Chen 11 was about to kill him, he felt 10,000 times more comfortable than before. Hai Huangling, see the master. From now on, Hai Huangling will be your eternal slave. Hai Huangling immediately knelt down and said, Okay, let's go. If you need anything, I will contact you. Yes, master, I have resigned. Immediately, Hai Huangling left this space. After leaving, Hai Huangling's eyes flashed with resentment. If it weren't for his desperation, who would want to become that neither male nor female slave? Grass. I will come back to bite you sooner or later in the future. And, torture you well. After all, I have never tasted an existence like yours. Whatever you want, Hai Huangling licked his lips, his eyes full of obscenity. He seemed to want it, forcing others to do anything, adding more men to men. On the other hand, the man naturally didn't know what Hai Huangling was thinking. After all, he felt that such an inferior creature was dirty and enslaved his soul. He felt uncomfortable all over, so it was naturally impossible to eavesdrop on his thoughts. What a disgusting ant. When I bring it back, I need to take a bath in blood. The man said in disgust. Then, he sat lazily on the throne, elegantly and calmly, playing with the relic and murmuring. Ha ha, old bald donkey, you didn't expect that you would fall into my hands after you die. Come on, let me take a good look at your fear before you die. After saying that, the man gently scratched the relic with his narrow and long nails. Boom. In an instant, endless Buddha's light continued to spread throughout the space. This time, the Buddha's light was much more powerful than before. Any wronged soul would be instantly annihilated as soon as it came into contact with it, including the wronged souls of the creators, but these Buddha's lights could never hurt the man at all. Gradually, the Buddha's light spread to every corner of this space, covering each skeleton with a golden holy robe. At the same time, one by one, mysterious and obscure Buddhist texts appeared in the sky. In the end, under the blessing of endless Buddha's light, these Buddhist texts continued to gather together, forming a virtual shadow. With his hands clasped together, his expression solemn and compassionate. The Buddha's power was magnificent, and it could not last forever, as if he could save all living beings from suffering. He was truly a great and compassionate Arhat who saved the world from suffering. Finally I see you again, my dear 18 Arhats, the third venerable. The man's eyes flashed with a complex expression, and he spoke slowly. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 447. After feeling the man's unique aura, the shadow suddenly said in shock. You are, the enslaved soul master. You evil beast, how is it possible? Didn't I wait for you and use the red lotus karma fire with my own hands to sink you into the sea of misery forever? Also, why does my relic appear here? That's right, the man the third lord was surprised by was none other than the slave soul master, an extremely terrifying existence. He appeared together with the emergence of all the heavens and all the worlds. He has no living body, but is similar to a living body. There is no distinction between gender. He relies on the incarnation of the evil thoughts of all the living beings in the heavens and all the worlds to live. Every time a clone with evil thoughts appears, his strength will improve by 1 point. Moreover, at the level of the soul, it is also an apex predator. Almost all taboos related to the soul can be controlled by the enslaved soul master. The most terrifying deed about enslaving a soul master is that he enslaved the soul of a master when he was the creator, and this happened during the Origin War. Why, are you surprised to see me still alive, old bald donkey? The slave soul master said with a smile, his expression full of teasing. Surprising indeed. After all, we saw your death with our own eyes. Then the third venerable also regained his expression and said calmly, after all, he has already died now. Even if the enslaved soul master is really resurrected, there is nothing he can do. Actually, I'm very curious. Tell me, I'm an inanimate person who has never killed any living being and has nothing to do with you old bald donkeys. Why do you want to hunt me down like this? The slave soul master said calmly. Never killed. Then when I look around, what are the corpses on the ground that I see and the endless cries of the innocent souls that I hear? The third venerable said slowly. This is all because of you. There are still these innocent souls who are just swallowed up by the greed in their hearts. People's hearts are not as good as snakes swallowing elephants. You can't blame me. Ask yourselves, before I fell into the sea of suffering, could I have killed anyone? Answer me. The slave soul master suddenly became extremely excited. So what? The fact now is that you have killed countless living beings. I only care about the results, so you must die. Slaving other people's souls is a great evil. It is no different from killing living beings, even if these living beings have already perished before being enslaved by you. Hearing the words of the third lord, the smile on the slave soul master's face became even crazier. Ha 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 ha, ridiculous, really ridiculous. The Buddha that the world thinks can save them is actually just a sanctimonious villain. What qualifications do you have to criticize me? On your way to becoming a Buddha, countless living beings have died to achieve your current status as a Buddha. The golden cassocks you are wearing, stripped of everything, are not filled with the blood of countless living beings. Don't you think it's ironic that you use the beads of faith formed by the faith of countless creatures to kill a living being who has never killed a living being before? How dare you say that I am a great evil? As he spoke, the tone of the enslaved soul master became more and more excited, and his eyes selectively devoured everyone. So what? The people of the world are willing to believe in our Buddha. Even if they are converted or not, they will only complain about whether they are pious enough, instead of denying us. Furthermore, we also need the power of faith to practice. This is an equal exchange. Buddha also has selfish motives. Haven't you heard the words of mortals? Buddha only saves the rich, life, old age, illness and death. Who does not need to practice? The foreshadowing of spiritual crystals and other things. The third venerable retorted, which sounds reasonable. It's ridiculous, it's complete nonsense. These are just beautifications for your ugly faces under the mask of hypocrisy. You are just a bunch of sanctimonious people. The slave soul master roared angrily. Buddhas are not deceived by lies. No matter what you say, we will not waver in the slightest. The world will only believe what they see. We are compassionate and save all sentient beings, but you kill countless lives and enslave souls. Whose words do you think are more convincing? Who will the world believe? The words of the third venerable were filled with jest. Hearing these words, the enslaved soul master gradually fell silent. Prejudice is a mountain in the heart of a living being. Once suspicion arises, evil becomes an objective fact, not to mention those mortals, weak ants, whose subjectivity will only follow the big crowd. The flow is fluttering. It is indeed as he said, no matter how miserable the Buddha is in his heart, he is always so compassionate in the eyes of the world. At least on the surface, he is very good at it. On the other hand, he is hard to describe. All right, you win. Indeed. The slave soul master said with a sad smile. Can you answer a few questions for me? Then, the third venerable asked slowly. Can. Why is my relic in your hands? I remember that I passed away in the Buddha's kingdom. The third venerable asked in confusion. Well, we have to ask the Haihuang tribe. Haihuang clan. Are you referring to the race in the Sea of Return to Ruins? That's right, the creatures in their clan have made deals with you people from the Buddhist kingdom. In other words, there are betrayers among you. How about it, ironic? When the slave soul master thought of this, he smiled happily, as if he had saved a little face for himself just now. I didn't expect that I, the third Arhat venerable, would also be backstabbed. The third venerable shook his head and said. Why, from what you said, do you know who it is? Except for my apprentice, there will be no one else. He is born with a rebellious heart and a rebellious killing heart, but his talent is extremely evil, so evil that I have never seen it before. He has never practiced Buddhism, but he has mastered everything about Buddha's nature and killing. This is an aspect that we have discarded, but in his eyes it is a treasure. I once thought that I could completely purify him with my strength, but I didn't expect that my strength was still low after all. I also underestimated his rebelliousness after all. The third venerable said slowly. Really? I feel much better after hearing what you said. You deserve it. However, I am still very curious. How did you survive under the dual blessing of the fire lotus and the sea of sin? Then, the third venerable said slowly. For this, I want to thank someone. A person, who? Someone you will never guess. The enslaved soul master had an unpredictable look on his face. Oh, after hearing what you said, I am getting more and more curious. This person is Li Bai, the white-clothed emperor. At this point, the enslaved soul master had an extremely respectful look on his face, like a devout believer. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 448. Boom. Hearing this, the third venerable felt as if his ears were ringing, and his mind was instantly in chaos. These three words once again awakened the long-buried horror memory in his mind. Impossible, how could it be him, how could it be, it's him. Hasn't he always been on good terms with our Buddhist country? In the previous war between the fairy land and the foreign land, I also felt that the son Tathagata went to help Li Bai. Why would he help you? The third venerable asked in disbelief, and the aura on his body gradually became disordered. The Buddha's might was vast, sweeping across all the deep space universe around him. In fact, it's not his fault that he reacted like this. After all, Li Bai couldn't have been unaware of the relationship between the enslaved soul master and their Buddhist country, but, it was precisely because of this that he had such a violent reaction. Emperor Baiyi, why can't you save me? Don't you think that you can understand Emperor Baiyi? Or do you think that the Tathagata, who helped Emperor Baiyi, means that he will be on good terms with your Buddhist clan? The tone of the slave soul master was full of sarcasm. He didn't expect the other party to be so naive. That was Li Baiyi. No one could really become Li Baiyi's enemy. On the contrary, everything was just because of interests. Why should he help you? Answer me. The third venerable asked unwillingly, his tone full of resentment. Why should I tell you? You are dead, and now you are just a soul body. Also, do you think I will say it, or, I dare to say it? The slave soul master pursed his lips and said slowly. Haha, that's right. After all, he is the emperor in white. Hearing what the slave soul master said, the third venerable also gave up asking. Okay, I won't waste my time talking to you. It's time to devour you. After all, I have never tasted the taste of the 18 arhats. After saying that, the slave soul master stretched out his slender white arm and grabbed the third venerable. In an instant, the endless Buddha light dissipated directly, and the Buddha's power gradually dissipated. The third venerable did not resist at all during the whole process. After all, he had already died. Moreover, the appearance of the relic here also proved the fate of his soul body. Slave soul master, can you answer me one last question? The last words of the dying man, tell me. Will you attack the other 18 arhats later? I know what you want to say. Don't worry, I will only attack the group of people who buried me in the sea of suffering. The slave soul master said lightly. I hope you can keep your word. By the way, let me remind you, be careful of my disciple, he has a lot of ideas about you, and he has had ideas before you were buried in the sea of suffering. Thank you for your reminder. Then, the relic was swallowed directly by the slave soul master, and the third venerable also completely dissipated in the heavens and the worlds. Well, it's okay. The taste is not as delicious as I imagined. The slave soul master smacked his lips and said with a little disgust. But I'm still very curious, why does his disciple have ideas about me? Is it because of my evil? That's right, after all, he is born with a rebellious heart and a murderous heart. Then, the slave soul master frowned and said. What a pity, I can never get out of this space. Alas, it would be great if I could contact the white-robed emperor again. He will definitely find a way. After all, I haven't given him this thing in my hand yet. After saying this, a feather slowly appeared in the hand of the slave soul master. The feather was shining with fairy light all the time, and it seemed that no external force could destroy it. Not only that, every strand of feather on this feather seemed to be a reincarnation of a century, and it was unknown which creature it belonged to. Then, the slave soul master stared at the feather and fell into silence. After a long time, he sighed. Xuanhuan, can I really complete this task? Also, why do you want me to hand it over to the white-robed emperor in person? Can't you show up? A conversation flashed through the slave soul master's mind, which was what Xuanhuan said to him. In the future, please be sure to hand this feather over to the white-robed lord. Why? When that day comes, you will know. And your life experience will also be completely revealed. After thinking for a moment, the slave soul master withdrew from the conversation and said to himself. My life experience, what kind of life experience do I have? Am I not an inanimate object? Forget it, let's wait until the road to the myriad worlds is opened. Maybe I can meet the white-robed emperor in it. After speaking, the slave soul master's figure disappeared directly in this space. On the other side, Li Bai led Zio through time and space tunnels, killed countless time and space monsters, and finally arrived at a seaside. "Hey, brother Bai, are we in the fairyland?" Zio said excitedly. After all, this was the first time he completely left the Gigzu Sea, symbolizing the opening of the road to freedom. "I guess so. But this is the boundless sea bordering the fairyland." Li Bai replied slowly. "Boundless sea. I seem to have some impression, I've heard of it. I remember that the boundless sea is one of the 3 forbidden seas in the heavens and all worlds." After saying that, Zio looked at the boundless ocean in front of her, and a fear unconsciously arose in her heart. "Why, you are a creature from the Gigzu Sea, and you are afraid of the boundless sea?" Li Bai asked with a smile when he saw Zio's frightened look. "Brother Bai Yi, you are really good at making sarcastic remarks. After all, I was born in the Gigzu Sea, so I am naturally not afraid of the Gigzu Sea. I have heard about the horror of the boundless sea. Although the strength of the boundless sea is not as strong as the Gigzu Sea, it is tens of thousands of times more bizarre than the Gigzu Sea. Besides, now that the king of the Gigzu Sea has disappeared, maybe the strength of the boundless sea has already surpassed the Gigzu Sea. Rumor has it that there are countless emperors buried here. No emperor can cross the boundless sea. Once they set foot on it, they will be swallowed up immediately. I am only a quasi-emperor now, how can I not be afraid?" Zio said aggrievedly. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 449. That makes sense. I forgot that you are only a quasi-emperor now. Li Bai said with a smile. He, brother Bai is annoying. By the way, brother Bai, aren't we going to the fairyland? Why are we in the boundless sea? Then, Zio asked in confusion. Because I want to go to the depths of the boundless sea. Hearing this, Zio was immediately panicked. Ah, brother Bai, what should I do? Don't worry, someone will come to pick you up. Then, Li Bai began to send messages to Nanyi, Emperor Suwu, Wanqi Academy, and the second generation of Chongtong in his mind. In just a moment, there was a reply from the other side. Of course, at this moment, their souls were connected, and anyone could hear each other's words. Friend, ha 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 ha, it's really you, friend. Master, it's you, master. Woo woo, master, master, De Huang misses you so much. Master Bai Yi. Okay, everyone, I know you have a lot of questions now. When we meet, I will answer them one by one. Now, you come to the boundless sea. Li Bai Yi said to the emperors. Boundless sea? Master, have you returned to the fairyland? Nanyi asked unexpectedly. Yes, that's right. Hearing Li Bai Yi's affirmative answer, the emperor's breathing suddenly became extremely rapid, and their minds were filled with overwhelming excitement. Okay, you come over first, and I will answer you if you have any questions at that time. Friend, wait for me. Master, I will go there with Shui Yi right away. Master, please wait for us. After speaking, the emperors immediately put down their work and prepared to go to the boundless sea. Boom! Boom! In an instant, the entire fairyland, a wisp of extremely terrifying imperial power, continued to pour out, and then, from every place in the 9 fairylands, one emperor after another continued to appear, turning into streams of light and flying towards the distant incomparable sea. At the same time, there were many immortal emperors, mythical emperors, and even half-step supreme auras, which continued to fill every corner of the fairyland. Suddenly, Countless fairyland creatures were extremely shocked, and their faces showed extremely fearful expressions. What is going on, these imperial powers? Emperor, almost all the emperors in our fairyland, unexpectedly, appeared out of nowhere. Is there going to be a war? This is the same guess in the hearts of countless fairyland creatures. After all, the last time the fairyland sent out all the emperors, it was the outside world that attacked the fairyland. However, it has only been a few years, and these emperors have appeared again. Could it be that Zhu Tian is about to return? Impossible. Almost all the emperors have said that there are still a few years before Zhu Tian returns. This is impossible to lie. Then, what's going on? Suddenly, several ancient beings who have survived for countless years suddenly thought of something, their eyes began to tremble and their tone became extremely stiff. Could it be that all this is because of that person? That person? Who are you talking about? Who do you think can make so many emperors go out at the same time in the fairyland? Well, shit. You don't mean to say that adult has returned? An old man said with extreme fear. There is a great possibility. Don't forget that the spirit race of the eternal upper realm was destroyed not long ago, and we also know the grudge between that adult and the spirit race. After destroying the spirit race, the road to the 10,000 worlds will be opened. Stop, don't say it, it's too damn scary. But if it is really like this, it's not surprising. After all, only that adult can make so many emperors go out at the same time. At this moment, in a space in the deepest part of the immortal palace, Emperor Void hurried to the side of an old man. Void. What's wrong? What happened in the immortal realm? The old man opened his eyes, and the endless galaxy kept flowing in his eyes, and the supreme aura suddenly burst out. This person is the half-step supreme, the end of the old man who appeared last time, but now he has successfully broken through to the supreme. Of course, all this is thanks to Li Bai. If it weren't for the things Li Bai gave him at that time, he would never be able to break through to the supreme now. Of course, the same is true for the other emperors. For example, Emperor Xuanhuan has broken through to the mythical realm, and so has the emperor of the Yuehua divine dynasty. People like Qingxian and Qingfeng of the Wanqi Academy have already stepped into the half-step supreme realm. All this happened in just a few years. Of course, there was no news of their breakthrough. After all, they all broke through in a secret realm given by Li Bai in order to prevent the leakage of their breath. Now most of the creatures in the fairyland think that their realm is the same as before. The end is supreme. Something big is happening. The Void Emperor said excitedly. Oh, looking at you like this, people who don't know would think that we have successfully repelled the 9 heavens. The old man stroked his beard and said with a smile. It's tens of thousands of times more exciting than this. What is that? My lord, it's my lord is back. The Void Emperor said with great excitement. Only when he was in front of Li Bai would he call him a close friend. Boom. In an instant, a ray of light shot out from the eyes of the old man of the end, and his body began to tremble constantly. What, are you sure? The old man of the end stared at the Void Emperor and said. The Supreme End, do you think I might lie to you about this? The Void Emperor said hurriedly. How did you know? The old man of the end asked immediately. My lord just contacted us, and now he is in the boundless sea, let's go quickly. Damn, then what are you still hesitating about, hurry up. After speaking, the old man of the end turned into a stream of light and rushed towards the boundless sea. The speed was so fast that the Void Emperor was amazed. Damn it, this old man heard the news about his best friend and ran faster than anyone else. Father! Father! At this moment, 2 Tianjiao slowly entered the fairy palace, 1 man and 1 woman. The man was extremely handsome, with a strong and handsome figure, and his whole body was surrounded by wisps of fairy light, like a young fairy emperor, and his realm had reached the Chaos God King. It can be said that he has stood at the top of the Tianjiao in the fairyland. The woman was wearing a pale white one-piece fairy dress, with a cold expression, as elegant as a snow lotus. Her white eyelashes were shining under the illumination of the fairy light, and her face was extremely beautiful. Although her realm was not as terrifying as the man just now, she also reached the half-step Chaos God King. The man's name is Suwa Xiaotian. The woman's name is Suwa Lianyi. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 450. The two are the descendants of the Void Emperor, a pair of twins, but they have been sealed in the Chaos God source. After all, in the era when they were born, there was no hope of becoming an emperor, because there was a female emperor who suppressed them tightly. This female emperor was the Nanyi Queen. In other words, the two and Nanyi are contemporaries, but because of the Chaos God source, their age has not increased. Xiaotian, Lianyi, you are here. How is it, are you used to the breath of this era? Have you merged? The Void Emperor looked at the two and said dotingly. Father, we have initially merged the breath of this era. I believe it won't take long to completely merge. Yeah. Void Lianyi followed with a soft voice. She was cold by nature, and she was the same to anyone, including her brother and her parents. How is it, what do you think about the Emperor's crown this time? The Void Emperor said with a smile. We naturally want to get it, after all, it's the great Emperor's crown, no genius can refuse it. But, Father, I think our hope is very slim. Let's not talk about those ancient race geniuses who are sealed like us, such as the geniuses in the fairyland now, I am not sure I can defeat them. For example, the princess of the Xuanhuan family, the young emperor of the Lin family, the two princes of the Jun family and the Zhang family, these are not easy to deal with. Not to mention Emperor Su and others. Suwa Xiaotian said with a wry smile. He originally thought that it would be easier to wait for the right era to be born after sealing himself for countless eras, but now it seems that it is even more difficult. Well, brother is right. Lianyi said softly beside him. To be honest, the reason why I let you wake up in this era is not because of the great emperor's crown. After all, the great emperor's crown can be said to have a set candidate. Emperor Suwa looked at the two and said slowly. Father, who is it? Hearing this, the two quickly looked at Emperor Suwu. Xiao Suai. Suai. What a strange name, is she a future genius? Xiaotian asked slowly. That's not the point. The point is, Suai is the apprentice of my best friend. Emperor Suwa looked at the two and said. Father's best friend, shit, father, you're not talking about that one. Xiaotian said with wide eyes, horrified, even Lianyi, who was always cold, had a look of fear in his eyes. After all, they, like Emperor Su, grew up listening to Li Bai's deeds. That's right. Emperor Suwa nodded. Damn, what are we fighting for then? We named ourselves because of Nanyi, and now, here comes another one. Father, if it doesn't work, I'll name myself again. Xiaotian felt sick, living in the shadow of Li Bai's apprentice for 2 consecutive eras. Okay, I won't talk nonsense with you guys anymore. Let's go, follow me to meet my best friend. The Void Emperor said to the two of them. After hearing this, Xiaotian and Lianyi both showed surprised expressions at the same time. Huh? What the hell? I said, you two follow me to meet my best friend. My best friend is waiting for us in the boundless sea now. The Void Emperor repeated it again. Damn, father, we are just Chaos God Kings. Scared. Yeah, scared. Lianyi said softly. Why, you are scared after meeting him once. After all, my best friend and I have been friends for countless years, Please don't be so embarrassing. The Void Emperor said with contempt. Lao Deng. Brother, don't be disrespectful to your father. Lianyi immediately said unhappily on the side. Ahem, father, what nonsense are you talking about? You and the master are close friends, what does it have to do with us? Besides, when we were self-proclaimed, you didn't have anything to do with the white-clothed master. Besides, one of us is a Chaos God King, and the other is a half-step Chaos God King, how can we have the courage? Xiao Tian pouted and kept shirking. Hey, you kid, keep scolding. I don't care about that, today, you have to see it or not. Emperor Suwa glanced at Xiao Tian, waved his hand and took the two of them directly into the time and space tunnel. Damn, Lao Deng, let me go, I won't go, I'm scared. Brother, don't call father, Lao Deng. Lian Yi's pretty face turned cold with anger, and she glared at her brother fiercely. Ah, he is Lao Deng, sister, Lao Deng actually wants us to die, go tell mom. Hey, kid, you can scream, it's useless, who made me your father? Ah, mom, save me, Lao Deng wants to take me to die. Brother, you. At the same time, in the Kangtian immortal realm, Xuanhuan family. At this time, the Xuanhuan Emperor clan has completely become the absolute decision-maker of the entire Kangtian immortal domain. After all, after the last war between the immortal domain and the outside world, the prestige of the Xuanhuan Emperor clan in the entire Kangtian immortal domain has reached an extremely terrifying level. In addition, not long ago, Emperor Xuanhuan successfully broke through to the Supreme. Note that it is not a half-step Supreme, but the real Supreme, which makes the entire Xuanhuan Emperor clan the only ruler of the Kangtian immortal domain. At this moment, in the Xuanhuan ancestral land, Emperor Xuanhuan slowly opened his eyes, and suddenly a breath of awe-inspiring aura of the immortal domain continued to leak out. Then, Emperor Xuanhuan exhaled a breath of turbid air, and an ambiguous look flowed in his eyes. Alas, as expected, the path ahead is not so easy to embark on. However, the prototype of the path ahead has been condensed and completed. I believe it will become a complete road soon. Then, Emperor Xuanhuan waved his hand, and an extremely illusory, tiny road prototype slowly emerged, followed by wisps of buried breath, which continued to burst out from it. Yes, this is his path ahead, a burial path based on the 7 heaven burial methods. Alas, my lord, this heaven burial secret method is indeed a bit difficult for me, not to mention the real heaven burial secret method. However, I will not let you down. I will definitely embark on the path of burying everything and walk to the end. The eyes of Emperor Xuanhuan reflected a ray of ambition. Ancestor! You finally woke up. I've been waiting for you for a long time. At this time, Emperor Xuanhuan said anxiously. At this moment, he also successfully broke through to the great emperor. Of course, this throne was naturally the throne that Li Bai and Tiandao wanted at that time. Little emperor, you are now the great emperor, and the head of the Xuanhuan emperor clan. You are no longer a quasi-emperor. Don't make a fuss. Emperor Xuanhuan frowned slightly and said lightly. Ancestor, something big happened. I have to be anxious. Emperor Xuanhuan said hurriedly, his expression was extremely anxious. Don't be anxious, talk slowly, and be calm even if Mount Tai collapses in front of you. If everyone is like you, when Zhu Tian returns, you will be scared to death by yourself first. Emperor Xuanhuan said unhappily, and then brewed a cup of fairy tea for himself. Ancestor, then I will talk slowly. Emperor Xuanhuan raised his eyebrows and asked uncertainly. Speak. That's right, the Lord in White is back. Puff. Hearing this, Emperor Xuanhuan directly sprayed out the tea that he had sent into the air, and then stared at Emperor Xuanhuan in disbelief, with a look in his eyes that seemed to say. Say it again, you bastard.